Hi, I'm Bonnie Lynn Linke of Stamping with Bonnie Lynn, and welcome to my studio. Today I am sharing with you a brand new stamp set that will be available to purchase on March 1st, Waves of Inspiration. And it comes either the stamp set, the dies, or you can buy the papers individually, or they have a whole product suite of everything, and that is what I purchased. The paper is called Waves of the Ocean, and the paper, the foil, and the gems are only available while supplies last. And Stampin' Up! Figures that's about 2 months. But the stamp set and the die cuts, which is right here, is going to be in the new annual catalog that comes out. I believe it's May 2nd, but don't quote me on that. So this is the stamp set. This is an Ocean Wave stamp. Gorgeous. I love it. And if you stay tuned at the very end, I'm going to show you 3 other cards that I made with this suite of products. So here's the die cuts. This is the Ocean Waves, and you'll get to see how they come out. There's 2 different ones of those. A greeting, couple greetings die cuts. The pelican, the stamps. It's a gorgeous set. I love it. And I'm going to show you the paper real quick before we get started. Let me set that over here. There's 2 pages each, 2 sheets each of 6 different designs. On one side is a very bold design like this. The other side is more subdued. And I understand that it was made they took paint, the artist did, and poured the paints out and then photographed it. They have some great artists at Stampin' Up! Okay, and there we go. And the colors that it coordinates with are Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, Nida Navy, Pacific Point, and Petal Pink. Okay, there's one piece. Here's the next one. I haven't used that one yet on any of the cards. Then there's this one here. Gorgeous. I love the colors. And this one here, I made one out of this paper that I will show you. And I went, on 2 of the cards, I went with more of the bold designs. And then one side, the one that I'm going to demonstrate is more subdued. There's that. And I use this piece here too. And that. And then the foils. Now the top sheet is silver. We always need silver foil. The second sheet is Coastal Cabana. Look at this. Oh, I love it. I really do love these foils. I wish they would make them available all the time. And then this one's my favorite. It's the Nida Navy. It is so gorgeous. I love it. I really do. I just want a bunch of the Nida Navy. And then there are the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. Now what they have are 6 different colors, but there's only 3 color lines, which is Nida Navy, Pacific Point, and Coastal Cabana. And then they did each one as a dark and a light. I know this one looks to me like Granny Apple Green, but I believe it's just a reflection of the Coastal Cabana. And then here's a light Night of Navy, and this is the dark, and this is Pacific Point and the light Pacific Point. At least that's what I can figure out, because they only give us 3 color names. Okay, so that's the new products. So I really like them, but I'm an ocean lover, so this suite just is perfect for me. Okay, this is the card I'm going to demonstrate, and it is called a flat fold Z card. So there we go. And I am using, on the inside is the ombre special sheets papers. There's 4 different colors of it, and see how pretty it is. And it's even darker over on this side, but I'd elected to take from this. So we are going to make this card today. So let's get started. Okay, normally I have everything already, but I wanted to do my scoring right on camera for you guys. And I want to show you my paper trimmer. Because it can be hard to read these numbers, I have put a piece of my tear and tape, which is this tape here, and I just put a piece on this underside right here. Of course, this I left on the underside so it wasn't sticky. And that way I can read my numbers so much easier. You know, as you get old, like I'm starting to get, just starting, your vision goes. My vision's always been bad, so, but I gotta have an excuse now. Okay, this one, the dark blade up there, that is for cutting. I want to score, so I use the light gray. And we are going to score it at 5.5, and we're going to score it at 2 3/4. Just like so. There we go. And then we're all done with that. So now I am going to take this, I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to use my bone folder, and I am going to burnish it, that edge. And then I'm going to take this other score line and fold it back this way and burnish this edge. Now you could use whatever color paper you want to on top, but because of the color of designer series paper I'm using, I decided I wanted to use the Coastal Cabana. And so what you want to do is you want to take your tape, which is right here. And you know, I made a mistake. I put my tape on this paper thinking I was really smart and going to be prepared, but I can't do that. So let me go grab another piece of paper real quick. Let's see, and I need that paper to be 5.5 by 4 1/4. There we go. Okay, because we're going to tape it here, and if I would have used the piece I put the tape on, it would have opened onto there. So you want to put your tape on this piece of paper right here. So next time I shouldn't get so ahead of myself. But that piece isn't wasted. It's just already taped up. I'm sure I can find a use for it on something. I've been using a lot of Coastal Cabana paper lately. I don't know if it's the springtime or if it's because I'm dreaming of going to the ocean and being someplace warm or wet. And this is my Take Your Pick tool. I like that pointed edge. It just gets my tape going really easily. Okay, and now that that's off, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to line this edge up right here. And by putting it on the half fold on the Night of Navy, I have my paper exactly where the tape right where I need it, so that side is free. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my specialty paper, the ombre paper, and this is, it's a glitter on there. It's kind of like a glitter paper, but it's not quite as rough, and it's just so pretty. And I know the other colors is a red, a green, and I think a purple. But I totally forgot that I had this. Not that any of you guys would ever forget that you bought something and haven't used it yet. So I thought, well, I'll just use it on this one because it is an ocean card and these colors kind of remind me of the ocean. I think that's what I miss most about Florida is I cannot go down to the ocean whenever I want to and walk along the beach. And I try to line this up with the bottom of the other, either top or bottom. Oops, I got that too high up. Bring that down a little bit. Line it up at the top because I think you notice the top more than you do the bottom. There we go. We still have snow on the ground here in Idaho. But on Facebook today, I came across a post that I made a year ago, and we had just gotten like 10 inches of snow that day. Terry was out shoveling the snow, so I'm counting my lucky blessings because the sun is shining today and it's 39. It's supposed to get up to 43 or so. Okay, I'm going to set that aside for a moment. Now, my designer series paper, because I'm using 4-inch strips of it, I cut it in a 4-inch strip. And that's what we did here. Now, you can use the first 5¼ inches if you want to. It's up to you what you use. But this reminded me a little bit of sand, and this was the ocean coming in, and then we're going to have that wave we bring in. So what I did is I figured out exactly what I wanted. Now, this is the piece I ended up cutting. This one was, I believe, like right here connected to this. I didn't want quite that much sand on mine because of the way the wave was coming in for this one. So you cut the paper, you find where you want it at, and then just cut your 5¼ inch piece. So I cut it, and see, I got tape on the back, and even that back side is gorgeous too. It would have worked fine for this. Could have been a wave out in the ocean. So I just put that down, center it on the paper. Make sure my sand is over to the right. And I take off a piece and push it down, so now it's holding in place. I don't have to worry about it sliding on me as I tape the rest of it. There we go. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to put on is our ocean wave. And let's see, where did I do with that stamp set? Okay, these are the die frames, and I used this one right here. I've already cut it out, but that's the one I used. And let me show you the other one. The other one is just a little bit different here on the edge, and it's more rounded than, see the one I use, it has a higher straight up edge, and this one is more rounded, so you can see that how it's more rounded right there. Okay, so I will put these back down, and I use the magnetic cards from Stamp & Storage, and I tape them inside my stamp case, and everything's right there. Now, this is 2½ by 5¼ inches. I cut a piece of foil that size. And on the back of it, I put the adhesive sheets. This is double-sided adhesive sheets. So you cut the size you want, you take off one side of it, and you put it on the back of your paper before you die cut out your image. And it just peels off like that. And then you can just take it. I'm going to put it starting on the lower corner of my designer series paper and press it down. I'm not messing with glue or anything else. Fabulous. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay. And then we're going to stamp our pelican. And last one I did in the black memento ink, but I think I over inked my stamp pad, so I didn't want to use black this time. So we are going to use Night and Navy. So just tap, tap, tap. And stamp it down. Now I did rock it a little bit, as you can see, but that's okay because I'm die cutting it out and it won't show. So we'll set that stamp off. And I have already done that. I die cut it out. And it is someplace over here in this mess of mine. Oh no. Well, let me just take a second. I know I cut it out. Oh, here it is. And I also cut one out of Night and Navy because we are going to use a kind of a silhouette on it, a shadow, I guess is what you want to call it. So I am going to, now I could glue this in place if I wanted to, but I don't want to. So I'm going to get my stamp and seal and I'm going to put a little bit right there. And just a tiny bit up there too, okay? And I'm gonna take it and just put it on it like that. You can see how much of the white is hanging over. And there's the blue there, just to give it a little bit more character. Then I'm going to take my dimensionals and put some on here. Now I know my minis are around here someplace, but I'm gonna just take and cut a couple of those side ones. Those scissors I just had are from Tim Holtz. And they cut through everything. And so, and I use them for all my, to cut my adhesive if it needs cutting, because it's real easy to clean the blade if it gets sticky with a little bit of undo. And they're just fabulous scissors. Okay, and I'm just gonna take it and put it there like so. And then I need some birds. And there is a little bird die cut. There is a bird stamp too in here. But okay, that's your little bird stamp right there. And this one right here is your die cut for birds. This here is a cloud. Oh yes, I do have clouds on one of them that I'm going to show you, so you'll get to see what it's like. Now I know I used blackbirds on the other one. Let's see. I think I'll use these. Because I had room on the foil sheet, I went ahead and cut me out some birds out of the foil. I also had cut some black ones too, but I don't feel like using black today, so we are going to go ahead and use these birds. And there we go. It's taking me longer to do the birds than anything. Do one right here, and we're going to put 5 of them on here. Now I'm not doing a greeting on the inside. Just preference. I could if I wanted to, but on the outside, but I just decided that I like just the picture. And on the other card that I had shown you already, it said, "You're so totally awesome." And I could do that one again, but I wanted to take a minute and show you how I do my stamp sets. And what I mean by that is how I put the label on the back. This is the Peaceful Moments stamp set. I believe it's in the annual catalog. And I want this one to say, I have 5 brothers, so I always need birthday cards. I want this one to say, "Wishing you every happiness this special day will bring." And I haven't used these sets yet, so I'm going to show you what I do. This is the stamp right here I want, and this is the backing for it. So I'm going to get a stamp block, and I'm going to put this down just like this. And then I want to take this off right here. Take off the backing on my stamp. And then I just hold this over it, line it up, which is a little bit hard to do sitting down on camera, and then just lower it down like that. And you can see how dirty my stamp block is. Green ink on it. And that puts it on there. It's just that easy. And I have found that works really good with the bigger stamps, backings you need to put on them. So I love the cling stamps. They're great. No more fighting with them staying on the blocks or anything. So I'm going to tap, tap, tap. I'm going to try not to rock it this time. And I am just going to stamp this right here. And then I'll just handwrite happy birthday, or else I'll maybe later on do a birthday one. I can do happy birthday right here or right here and just put it on there. So now I take this, take the tape off the back. Like so. I could have put it on dimensionals, but being I need to sign it, I didn't think dimensionals would be real good for me on this. And just center it in there and put it down. And I could, maybe later on, I may stamp a bird or two flying on there. That'd be kind of pretty too. And so that is it. That is my Z card. I love it. Love it. There are so many different ways to do Z cards, but this is your flat fold one, and it stands up nicely. I hope you like that. And for the envelope, you could put a piece of designer series paper on the back flap. Now for the cards that are a little bit thicker, I use a little bit larger envelope that I get off of Amazon. Otherwise, I could use the standard size. And I always put a piece of paper over my card to protect it when it's being mailed, because it is so uneven. And this card with your standard smaller envelope that it will fit in, this piece of paper, and this is like a 60 weight paper, and the card as I made it will take a butterfly stamp to mail it. That is the 1 ounce price. And you know, let's put, where's my gems? I didn't put any rhinestones on this one, so, but I didn't put any on the other one, in all fairness too. But let's go ahead and, let's see. Let's take this one and put it right there. Maybe take this one here. I like to put 3 and just kind of position them somewhat in a triangle. And there we go. Very pretty. Okay, so that is that card. And let me bring in my sample so you can see the difference. the black birds, only 3 of them. I used 5 of the foil birds on this one. Used the same paper, different cuts, different columns, so they do like a little bit differently on where everything is. They're not identical paper. Black on the pelican and navy blue on that. And oh, you know, we got a color in his bill. There we go. And you could use stamping blends and color him if you wanted to. I didn't want to. And then the inside is the same on both of them. So that is the Wave of the Oceans Designer Series paper. And it is the Waves of Inspiration stamp set. Okay, now I promised to show you some other cards. This is made just with the Designer Series paper. This is what I call my triple time Designer Series paper cutting. I used my stitch rectangular dies, and I took one piece of paper and I cut it with 3 dies. I will be demonstrating this on another video later in March and using a different type of paper with it. But you'll get the card recipe in about a month or so. And then I put 5 birds. I used the Night of Navy foil on the wave, and I did put the wave down. Well, I was supposed to put the wave down on the paper before I cut it with the die cuts, but I forgot, so I had to very carefully snip it in the right places. So there's that. And I have not done anything on the inside of my cards yet. And then there's this one right here, same concept, done exactly the same way. But on this, I heat embossed on a piece of vellum the saying, and I put the 2-sided adhesive on the vellum so that you would not be able to see the adhesive on it. And I did heat emboss with white on it. And then there's a piece of Designer Series paper under that. This one is Granny Apple Green and Royal Pacific Point paper. And this one was Coastal Cabana and Pacific Point paper. And those were done with the Designer Series paper. This one here is all stamped and die cut. I used the bark folder, reminds me of waves. It's the closest thing that we have to a wave background right now. But those of you who have the wave embossing folder, that would look gorgeous on here too. I took my saying and I cut it into 3 lines so that it would just, to me, it looked better that way. This is stamped. This is the bottom of the stamp of the ocean. It is this part right in here. You could actually use this part right here too. But this way I was able to get a little bit bigger than if I would have just used that part that hangs over. This one I copied somewhat out of the catalog. I used their concept. This is the clouds, and this each cloud is 2 pieces. This is just the white shape, and then this is another die cut that I put the 2-sided adhesive on the white paper before I cut it out so that I could just lay it down on there, stamp the birds. The pelican is stamped in soft suede. I think Early Espresso might have been a little bit better. There are gems. And on the inside, no saying yet, but I did stamp the paper there. And when I showed you the envelope earlier, this is actually the envelope to go with that. I just stamped the pelican on the wood right there. Another thing you could do is take your Designer Series paper and glue a piece to the back of your flap of the envelope. That's always gorgeous to do. Well, that's it today. I hope you enjoyed this suite of products. Information to order it is on my blog. And also notice on my blog now in the emails and also at the end of the blog post, there will be the products, there will be pictures of it. Unfortunately, the blog post is being written before the product goes live. So that product may not be on it, but everything else that is used will be on it because I am going to be taking a vacation. Our last one in February got canceled at the last minute, so we're trying again. So if you don't see it, you can just Google in the links to my Stampin' Up! Store, Wave of Inspiration, and it will bring up the whole suite for you. And also the current catalog code host will be there. If you use that on orders under $150, you will earn some type of free product from me, whether it's designer series paper that I send you or adhesives. I will send you a thank you gift for any merchandise order placed over $50. And if your order is over $150, then please do not enter my host code. That way you can get the stamping rewards for yourself and get exactly what you want, but you will still get a thank you gift from me. And that's it. Thank you very much. You are with Bonnie Lynn Linke of Stamping with Bonnie Lynn. Bye.